In the British parliamentary elections of November the 14th, 1935, 615 members were still elected to the House of Commons. There was still that national government of Conservatives, Liberals and Labourites, and Stanley Baldwin had replaced Ramsay MacDonald as the Prime Minister earlier that year. The voter turnout was 71.1%. The Conservatives received another majority with 47.8% of the vote, or about 10,025,000 votes and 386 seats. Clement Attlee, who led the Labourites, who were not in the coalition, had to concede defeat. His party received 38% of the vote and 154 seats. John Simon, who led the Liberal National Party, took 3.7% of the vote and 33 seats. Herbert Samuel, who led the Liberal Party, had his party also defeated with 6.7% of the vote and 21 seats. Ramsay MacDonald, who led the National Labour Party in coalition with the Conservatives, saw his party receive only 1.5% of the vote and 8 seats, while James Maxton, who led the Independent Labour Party, had his party receive only 0.7% of the vote and 4 seats. During this parliament, which was a long parliament lasting until July 1945, when the next general elections were held, or until late May 1945, when the parliament was officially dissolved, there was the constitutional crisis of the autumn of 1936 that was resolved when Edward VIII abdicated in favor of his brother Albert, who became King George VI in December 1936, in order to be able to marry his American mistress, the twice divorced socialite Wallis Simpson. And then in the spring of 1937, not only was King George VI inaugurated or crowned officially, but also Stanley Baldwin retired and was replaced by Neville Chamberlain, a well-known appeaser, who then in September 1938, together with his French colleague, Prime Minister Édouard Daladier, signed the Munich Accord, which then gave Germany the western border areas of Czechoslovakia, or the so-called Sudetenland. And as we know, the appeasement policy failed, and in September 1939 also the British Empire was plunged into the Second World War. In May 1940, Chamberlain resigned and was replaced by Winston Churchill, who was instrumental in leading the British war effort.